Hey everyone, it's Nick with Good Health Saunas. Welcome back to another episode of Sweating the Details. Before we get things rolling, I see a bunch of people jumping in the chat. So we see Fun Seekers Fitness, we got German Shepherd 426. Welcome guys. Let me know if the audio sounds good. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Tonight, we're back inside the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid unit. We are going to be going through a typical infrared sauna session, what my 1 hour infrared session looks like. We're gonna go through, again, tips, tricks, and tonight we're gonna go through a couple different things as far as what kind of separates the low quality units from higher quality units like we always do. But tonight's topic is bigger than just temperature or pricing. Tonight we're talking about proactive health. So not waiting until something hurts before you start taking your recovery seriously. And so drop in the comments if you've used an infrared sauna before. Have you only used a traditional sauna? Have you only used a steam room? Those are all things that we enjoy to talk about and give you guys a platform to ask your questions here. So if you're new, every week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we go through a 1 hour live infrared sauna session. We've been doing it in the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid unit. So our typical sessions start out with turning the unit on. We're gonna do that shortly here. We're gonna let it get up to that core body temperature, so around 100, 110 degrees, and that's when we're gonna hop in the unit. So let's turn it on here. We're gonna get it heated up nice and quickly, and then we will jump in to start the full session. So as always, the unit is gonna be starting at around room temperature. So only gonna be about 74 degrees, it says right now. And we're gonna make sure it's set to the max temperature of that 165. And obviously, being that this is a Good Health Saunas hybrid series, we do have two different series. So being that you guys typically like to see the hybrid series, and we like showing you guys the hybrid series during the live, just because of that transparent glass, but just wanna give you a quick little preview and kind of a sneak peek at our signature series. So if you guys just come along over here, we have a 2-person signature series. So this is gonna be a 20 amp version. Obviously you have that mirrored finish, a little bit different than that transparent glass in the hybrid series. One of the most important things you're gonna notice just right out of the gate is you still have these nice big wraparound heaters. You probably can't see it on the camera, but you do have 360 lower extremity coverage as well. So there's calf heaters on both sides, behind your calf, built-in floor heat, and then 2 front-facing heaters as well. So this is just giving you guys a look at one of the different options we have. We have all different shapes, sizes, heating configurations, depending on what your space is capable of, what you want to do with your space. So again, just wanted to show you what one of our signature series would look like, but we're going to jump back over to our corner hybrid series. And so looks like we got a couple more people in the chat as well. Michael, welcome. Libin, thanks for joining. Mama Rama has just joined as well. Welcome guys. We are going through a 1 hour infrared sauna session like we do every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And tonight's topic, again, it's not just about temperature, it's not just about pricing, it's not really about materials. We're really starting to focus on being proactive. So not waiting until something hurts before you start talking recovery seriously. And we just turned the unit on shortly here. Because of the amount of heaters in the Good Health Saunas, it has that nice quick heat up time. You'll see 10, 15 minutes, and then we're gonna be able to jump in. But before we do that, just kind of wanted to run through last week's episode as we broke down the difference and basically what infrared is in plain English. And so infrared actually means, or what infrared actually means as far as near, mid, and why far infrared creates the most heat and the most sweat benefit, but why you really shouldn't just be concerned with buzzwords in the industry. And what do those really look like? Everyone can throw around low EMF, full spectrum, medical grade, high quality, red light, or high temperatures, but why does that really matter? And at the end of the day, the fundamentals stay the same. What are the saunas made of? How many heaters does it have? Where are those heaters placed? And does it heat evenly or leave any cold spots? And so that's why we always preach 360 degree coverage. That's gonna make sure you're getting that even heat distribution, nice quick heat up time, but then you're also maximizing those health benefits. Also, you want to pay attention to EMF levels. You don't want anything off-gassing into the unit, so making sure it is solid lumber construction. You don't want any like plywood, particle boards that can heat up and off-gas, gets into you, defeats the whole purpose. And then if anything goes wrong with the sauna, is there a warranty that comes with it? Who services? How easy is it to service? Those are all really good points. And like I said, just focus on the fundamentals when you do start looking. And tonight, again, we're gonna zoom out a little bit. We're not just talking about what infrared is, we're talking about why people should look at recovery, circulation, mobility, and long-term health before they're really forced to. And so we got Andy's in the chat, Squirrel has joined, Mercy Me is also joined. Welcome, guys. We are going live for another 1-hour infrared sauna session. Let me know where you're watching from. If you've used an infrared sauna before, have you only used a traditional sauna or a steam room? Any questions that you guys have right out of the gate. We, again, are just letting the unit heat up for about 5-10 minutes here, probably closer to 10-15 actually, getting it up to that body temperature, so around 100 to 110 degrees. That's when we're gonna wanna jump in the unit close to that core body temp. And so, as always, staying super, super hydrated is key. And one of the big things that really wanted to touch on tonight is, especially being a Wisconsin-based company, we were just exposed to so much wildfire smoke, and whether it's from Canada, Minnesota, out west, or anywhere else, smoke can still travel a long way. And you may not see the fire, but your body's still dealing with the air quality around you. And wildfire smoke is not just from trees, it contains fine particles, gases, toxins, heavy metals, carcinogens from just trees, plants, buildings, vehicles, and more. So the sauna, again, is one of the best things you guys can do as far as the detox protocol. We got T-Boy in the chat. Are you guys at the Washington County Fair this weekend? I got a mailer with a coupon. Yes, so we are. If you're in the Wisconsin area, we are at the Washington County Fair. We sent out mailers to all the locals. And if you're still just shopping online, ask if you have any of the extra state fair coupons still remaining. But if you're in the area, obviously stop out to the Washington County Fair, take a look for yourself. And so this is, again, with using the sauna as your detox protocol. The sauna isn't gonna cure smoke exposure. If the air quality is bad, you obviously wanna protect your lungs. You wanna be indoors. You don't wanna expose yourself any more than you have to. But the point is environmental, and the whole point is that environmental exposure is around us every day. The wildfires were just an example of how we can get impacted. And again, in everyday life, we're exposed to so many of those. And that's why people are paying a lot more attention to sweating, circulation, making sure it's clean materials, and what they're breathing inside their homes, and then obviously inside their saunas too. So if you're buying a sauna for your health, the cabin itself has to be clean, safe. You don't want to sit inside cheap glues, plywood, particle board, or finishes that heat up around you every time you're trying to use it. And so, being that the unit's about 100 degrees right now, it is going to be that time where we are going to jump in the unit. So we will meet you guys in there. Give us one quick second. Welcome back, guys. We just jumped in the corner hybrid unit, and again, it was around 100 degrees in here, so that was close to our core body temperature. We are going to start our Apple workout here. So we are going to start it and then give you guys a rough estimate of where heart rate's at, and then obviously track the progress along the way. So being that we just got in the unit, obviously heart rate gets elevated when I start doing these, talking to you guys, making sure that I don't miss any comments or anything. And Becker, thanks for joining. We are starting the session, and again, the heart rate is going to be pretty elevated right now. It's already about 114 in here, so just being that I was talking, again, the unit is about 107 reading right now, so it's not like it's not warm in here. It's definitely warmer than just the outside ambient room, but getting in around that core body temp is just the nicest way to evenly distribute the heat. I'm not shocking my body. I can still take that nice deep breath, and then I can heat up slowly with the unit. And so I did forget to show you guys putting towels on the bench and on the floor. That's going to be one of the biggest things you can do to just keep your sauna clean. And take the towels out when you're done. Don't leave the damp towels in there. If you want to wipe down the lumber, because it is all real lumber, you don't want to use any chemical cleaners. The whole reason we're getting in here, like we were talking about with the wildfires and just all the environmental toxins we're exposed to, the whole reason you're in there is to sweat it all out. You just don't want to use any chemical cleaners or anything like that on the inside. So we were putting towels on the bench and obviously on the floor too. I was talking with someone the other day that asked about covering that floor heater and is it okay to do so? And it's definitely okay to cover that floor heater. For me, you'll see the first 5-10 minutes, I don't have anything really covering that floor heater. I just have my feet directly on it. And then once I start to get a good sweat going, that's when I'm going to cover up that floor heater, and just any of the sweat that's dripping down my calves or on my heels just gets onto those towels. And again, helps just keep the unit clean for the long run. So most people, when they do start looking for infrared saunas, there's a couple different points at which they do. A lot of people are reactive with their health, and the lower body, feet, calves, and it looks like and so with the lower body, there's things that you want to make sure you're super covered, but being proactive versus reactive are something that we hear and talk to people a lot about. And so most people, again, wait and be reactive with their health. They wait until their back pain gets bad. They wait until they can't sleep at night. Their blood pressure number gets scary, or their knee really starts bothering them. And then that's when you see the smartest people that I know and the happiest people that I know, they think differently. They ask, what can I build in my routine now so I can feel better in 5, 10, or 20 years from now? Don't wait for your body to have and force the conversation. A sauna is not magic. It doesn't replace exercise, good nutrition, sleep, or medical care. But when it's built correctly and used consistently, it can become the easiest recovery tool to add to your life. It supports deep sweat response. It helps promote circulation, recovery. It can become consistent pre-bed, post-workout, and just, again, a deep recovery tool. It gives you the private recovery in the comfort of your own home. And again, you wouldn't wait for your car engine to blow before you change the oil. And a lot of people treat their body that way. Recovery is maintenance, and having something, again, in the comfort of your own home that has that nice quick heat up time, that's when we hear from customers, they start to use it consistently, can see and feel those long-term health benefits then. So if you have any questions, again, drop them down in the chat below. Let me know where you're watching from. Again, we are at the Washington County Fair this week. It started today, and we will be there this entire weekend. So if you're in the Wisconsin area, stop on out, take a look for yourself, ask for any of the extra fair discounts that they have. And again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us online too. We have this QR code that you can scan. If you scan that, you can schedule a one-on-one with me or any of my amazing coworkers to just walk through all of the questions you have, kind of show you the ins and the outs of the industry for someone and for people who have been dealing with these units hands-on for 20 plus years. So again, you don't want to wait and get behind the 8 ball, and you don't, and I deal with people and see it a lot where people use their health to build their wealth, and then they use the wealth to try and buy back the health. And that's something that if you can get ahead of the game, there are dividends that get paid in the long run for investing in yourself early on in life. And like I said, I see it almost day in and day out, where the people who take the time to build something into their routine, and what a lot of people realize is what you start doing now, and for me in my 20s going into my 30s, that's going to be really reflective of how my 40s, 50s, 60s are going to be. So obviously I want to live life to the fullest, make sure that my body's there. I'm, again, not waiting for something to happen. I want to golf. I want to be able to play with my friends, family, and all that. So using and having, again, a recovery tool that I know just promotes a ton more benefits than just sweating. It actually gets deep into that cellular recovery. That's when you can, and that's when I've really noticed why infrared saunas have become just so popular. And for me, if I had to pick one thing to go without, it definitely wouldn't be the sauna. I probably would go without cardio, just because I know I can still get that same cardiovascular workout. Now, again, it's not replacing diet. It's not replacing exercise. It's a tool in the tool belt that you want to have and that you want to be able to use at your disposal. And so going back to with the lower bodies, like I said, golf for me, or I hear from a lot of people if they're in the trades or if they're in healthcare, teaching, fitness, first responders, so much wear and tear on your bodies. And one area that just people don't talk about enough is the lower body: feet, calves, hips, glutes, your lower back. Most people think of the sauna for sweating, detox, recovery, relaxation, but your lower body is really the engine of your whole system. And that's why we preach 360-degree coverage so much. If your legs are stiff, your feet are sore, your hips are tight, if your knees hurt or your circulation is poor, everything else starts to compensate. That affects how you move, how active you stay, how you recover, and how independent you feel long term. So that's where I've noticed just night and day difference with having that circulation throughout my entire body. And I always say it, and I know customers of mine have heard me say it hundreds of times, but one of the first times I used an infrared sauna, I never realized how many muscles I had in my feet until they all finally felt relaxed. And as cliche as it sounds, I felt like I had pillows instead of bricks on my feet. And it was an addicting feeling from there ever since then. So that's where, when people think, and you think about it from the bare basic standpoint of human anatomy, the lower body is the furthest away from your heart. And that's often when people first start to notice circulatory issues, swelling, stiffness, cold feet, sore calves, or just joint discomfort. And a lot of customers come to us saying things like, I'm on my feet all day. My feet and calves are always sore. I have knee pain, hip tightness. My lower back gets stiff. And that's all typically stemming from a lower extremity issue. It may start with your feet. It works up to the knee, goes up to the hip, works its way up to your back. Having something that, again, really emphasizes 360-degree coverage, and don't buy a sauna that only covers your back, because your lower body, again, is the workhorse and the engine of your whole body. So that's why we, again, preach 360-degree coverage, not only the floor heat or the calf heat, but the front-facing heaters also. If it's an all-glass front, it's going to be like sitting in front of a radiator. I'm going to feel all that heat on my back, nothing on the front of my body. And again, I'm really not emphasizing the circulation, those lower extremities. I'm not relaxing all the muscles, the joints, the ligaments. And another really powerful example that I was talking about and kind of hit home for me was a King's College London study that followed 324 healthy female twins for about 10 years. They measured leg power, memory, brain structure, and cognitive changes over time. The reason the study is interesting is the twin studies help control for genetics, early upbringing, and we're not just comparing random people with two totally different backgrounds. that obviously hits home for me, being that I am a twin. So I can understand why having the same body type, upbringing, all those play a role when you are taking from a scientific standpoint. So this study, again, simply states that stronger leg power was associated with better cognitive aging over time. In a study, a 40-watt difference in leg power was associated with cognitive performance equivalent to about 3.3 years difference in age. Brain imaging also shows stronger leg power was linked with better brain structure markers like more gray matter and smaller ventricles. So that was a little scientific side of it, but obviously the sauna does not replace leg training, walking, or stretching. It doesn't prevent cognitive decline. The point is that the lower body is deeply tied to long-term health, circulation, mobility, and independence. And so we got Kevin Ross, heck yeah, fire emoji in the chat, that's awesome. Fred Walter, do you have one of our saunas, Kevin? And we got Jay Murphy in the chat as well. Got a couple other people. Alyssa, welcome guys. We are only about 10 minutes into the session here. You can see I am just starting to get a good perspiration going. Heart rate is only in about the 115s. Again, not really amplifying that heart rate right out of the gate. It's a nice gradual transition. So that's why I'm not spiking that heart rate. I'm not spiking my blood pressure. And with like a heart condition can actually use and enjoy the infrared sauna, because when I'm in here, the vasodilation of the blood vessels is like running blood in fire hoses compared to garden hoses. My heart doesn't have to work as hard because it's getting more blood flowing without having to work as hard. So those are a ton of the benefits that you're gonna notice. And and if you've never used an infrared sauna and you've only had an experience in a traditional or a steam room, it is a night and day difference as far as that hot abrasive air temperature versus a much deeper therapeutic infrared heat. So if you haven't had the chance to use one, I definitely recommend trying one out. We have commercial applications all across the country, so ask us, especially if you're in the Midwest, New England, East Coast area, tons of applications all across the country where you can try them out. Use an infrared sauna if you just want to take a look at all the different options. We have, again, you can schedule a one-on-one with me, but for just starting out, we have a buyer's guide of 5 easy questions that you can ask any infrared sauna brand, and that's going to give you a good gauge on if it's really more of a lower quality unit or if it is a high quality sauna. So Kevin hasn't purchased one yet. Are you thinking about getting one, Kevin, or how'd you hear about us? Or were you just scrolling? Because it's getting warm in here. But are you working with anyone right now, Kevin, or is this the first time you're seeing a Good Health Saunas? But about 1:30 in here right now. So we do have, obviously, the air purification unit. All the Good Health Saunas come with air purifier, Bluetooth speakers. Chromotherapy lighting does have all 9 different light color settings, so each one has different benefits. And then you have a nice digital control panel with a built-in reservation mode. So that, again, comes fully loaded in all the Good Health Saunas. This being the hybrid series, I can set it up to 165. I do get cup holders, essential oil tray. I do get some additional lighting behind my shoulders and behind my calves as well. I showed you guys a little bit earlier in the live what the Signature series looked like. But again, we have different shapes, sizes for whatever your space is capable of and whatever you guys want to do with your space. So we got the light changing and cycling right now. We'll give you a rough update, and the heart rate again, it's roughly 120. We're about 15 minutes in, and it's been a gradual increase. So it's not like that traditional sauna or steam room that I would have used at the gym, where the second I would have walked in it, my heart rate probably would have been in the 120s, and by now it would feel like my hair's falling out, my eyes are burning, and I really couldn't even breathe. So Kevin, let me know, which one are you looking at, one of our saunas, or again, is this the first time you're hearing of us? I am always curious where people are at in their journey. But we went over tons of really key things with lower extremities and why that is super important, but now why the sauna design actually matters more than just the number on the screen or the name on the outside. A cheap sauna may still get warm and it may still make you sweat, but if it has no floor heat, if it has no calf heat, no side heat, or no front facing heat, you're leaving a lot of the body out of your session. So at Good Health Saunas, that's again why we talk about full body heater coverage. We're not just trying to build something that looks good in the pictures. We care about how it feels when someone uses it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week. And so back heaters support the spine and shoulders. Side heaters help reduce uneven heat and cold spot. And obviously front heaters matter for your chest, your core, your quads, your shins. Calf heaters matter again because so many people have sore calves, which lead to, again, circulatory tightness in the legs and just the hips. Floor heat matters because, again, the feet, lower legs are often areas that people forget about until they start to feel it. And that's when typically the lingering effect has happened long up the body. So if a sauna only heats your back, it's not giving you an actual infrared sauna session. You're really more so just getting therapy on that back. So there are saunas out there that may look like a wooden cabin and you may go in and you'll sweat. But again, if it doesn't have 360-degree heat, it's more or less just like laying on a heating pad or something of that nature. But where do you feel like you guys need the recovery the most? Is it hips? Is it back? Dr. Jenna has joined. Is it shoulders? Do you use it for sleep? Is it stress? Just overall health, cardiovascular? Where do you guys feel that recovery is needed the most? So for me, it definitely helps me sleep a lot better. I can fall asleep a lot quicker at night, get a much, much deeper sleep. I'm not tossing and turning. And so then that next day, I just feel a lot more well-rested, a lot more alert. And we are definitely starting to sweat in here. If you guys can't already tell, we are in that roughly phase 2 cardiovascular state where I know I've again slowly elevated it. It's like I'm doing a jog into a marathon style run compared to that instant heat of a traditional sauna where that's going to be more compared to like a sprint. So this, I again can already feel it in my neck and my shoulders. And you'll see, being that I'm still about 6'1", sitting upright, there's still plenty of coverage for my neck and shoulders. And just heater coverage is something you're not going to see in lower quality units. They may have felt covering over the top where you may think this is a big back heater, or you may think there's heaters covering other areas, but what you're not going to be able to see behind that felt is the actual heating element. And that's why next time, if you guys want, we can show you the flare gun imaging of the heater coverage of a Good Health Saunas, and specifically the corner hybrid, just the one that I always use, so you can have a good example of what true 360-degree coverage looks like compared to just making a unit and designing one that looks nice. So we are obviously getting into the session, so that's why we design it around full body coverage, real lumbar, low EMF. Obviously, it needs to be backed with that lifetime warranty, and that's where you hear from so many customers who absolutely love their saunas. They say it's one of the best investments they made. They use it almost every single day, and they wish they had got one sooner. Kevin says all the above. All the above as in the health benefits, Kevin? Were you thinking sleep, circulatory, detox, heart health, any just aches or pains? But if you have any questions, Kevin, click this link. You can schedule a quick one-on-one with me. No pressure at all, obviously. Figure out if an infrared sauna is something that you're actually going to use, enjoy. If you have a good space for it, make sure that we'd be obviously a good fit. And have you kind of been looking for a while, Kevin, or is this something that's new to you? but it's about 136 in here right now. 137 just bumped up. And you can see I am profusely sweating. One of the big things with having a hybrid series, and what I really like, is I can set it up to the 165. And so that way when I get in around 100 degrees, I'm in here the entire time it's getting up. So I probably at the end of the session might not even look at the temperature. It might only be 150, 140 in here. But I know that it's raised my core body temperature roughly 3.5 degrees, which is going to simulate my natural recovery mode. It's the same thing as everyone, if you've ever been super sick at night, sleeping throughout the night, you're sweating buckets in your sleep. That's your body's natural recovery mode. You're simulating that inside the sauna by raising that core temperature. In a traditional sauna, that hot air heats the surface of your body. Now, you're still going to sweat because it's still going to be hot. Your body's still going to try and cool itself off, but that's going to be more water compared to that fever-like response. The nice thing with the infrared saunas, even though I've elevated my core temperature, I don't have any of the symptoms or side effects of that fever. So my body can really focus on that natural recovery, detox, again, the circulatory system, cardiovascular system. And when you start to sweat, your body has to create a lot of the happy hormones. Obviously, in these summer months, we've been going through how sweating year-round is super beneficial. One of the episodes was focused on using an infrared sauna year-round. Is the same premise, and going back to the car example, is you wouldn't wait for your car's check engine light to come on or your car's engine to blow before you take it in to change the oil. But it's the same way when you're looking at the, oh, I forgot where I was going down. It was good though. But with your car, and if you're not going to wait for the engine to blow before you change the oil, you obviously want to be reactive. And so having something that, again, you know you're getting the health benefits from, it has the 360-degree heat, and you're getting the benefits in those lower extremities, those are when you really can see and feel the night and day difference. So we got Corey has joined. Welcome, Corey. Where are you tuning in from? Have you used an infrared sauna before? This is a Good Health Saunas Corner hybrid unit. We've been in for about 25 minutes now. So typically, this is when heart rate starts to get really elevated. May get a little quieter just talking to you guys. But if you have any questions, again, don't be afraid to drop them down in the chat. If you guys are thinking about where you'd put one, let me know. We have basements, home bedrooms, or home gyms, bedrooms. Pretty much anywhere is a good spot for an infrared sauna. And so there's no venting, no plumbing, no water lines. Most of them just a 110, 20 amp outlet. And you can plug it in and put it pretty much anywhere. So those were really the key points for tonight's live. Obviously, making sure that heater placement is important, but because, again, the lower extremities are so important for your body, there are people that have, and like I said, for myself example, or from using myself as an example, when I used an infrared sauna, I never realized how many muscles that I had in my feet. And it's the same way when you have back pain or if you have knee pain. So many people go through life just dealing with it, tolerating it, maybe taking Advil, Tylenol, over-the-counter pain meds, where those are just putting a Band-Aid on it. When you're actually looking at recovery and what can I do to make my body better, that's why we always say the sauna is not replacing stretching, it's not replacing nutrition, it's only amplifying all those effects. So for me, I know even if I had a fun weekend with my friends and ended up eating more food or probably not the healthiest food that I should have, using the sauna is still one of the ways that I can help reset my body, get it back to that most natural state, a toxin-free environment, especially being outside, again, like we were talking about with all the wildfire smoke that we were exposed to just this past week. And it's, again, the sauna isn't going to be magic fix to all. It's just the best tool as far as recovery actually goes. And when we're talking about recovery, what does that actually mean? And so many people look at, well, if I'm resting, that's technically recovery. And yeah, resting is recovery, but if you can compound that while sitting in the sauna and still resting, but again, improving the circulation, getting more oxygenated blood flowing throughout your body, that's when you're, again, going to start to see and feel those long term health benefits. So, if you've never had a chance to use one, or if you're just starting, I always recommend checking out my buyer's guide with this link below that has 5 great questions that you can ask any infrared sauna brand to really tell right out of the gate if they are a high quality or if they are a low quality unit. So we got George, welcome. Teresa, welcome. We're about 30 minutes into the session, guys. So as we like to say, we have just gotten on the struggle bus, but that is when we really start to notice the cardiovascular benefits. So struggle bus is something that we enjoy, putting yourself in that high heat type environment. And as we talked about on previous episodes, using the sauna and sweating year round really helps train your body to deal with those stressors, whether it's work, financial, relationship, personal. Having a sauna and just being able to control your body and sit in here for 45 minutes in that high heat type environment, you're actually training your nervous system to be less responsive in those high stress environments because you're regulating your body. So when you start to sweat, your body's going to cool off quicker. When you can start to sweat faster, your body's going to cool off quicker. So same thing if you're stressed out at work. When you're putting your body in these high heat stress type environments, you're training it to be in those regulatory states, and you're not going to feel the impacts as far as just kind of mental fog or just tired, weak, or that drained feeling that you can sometimes have. And we got Sweat Junkie in the chat. I know he is, if not one of the biggest sweat junkies out there. So what's up, Luke? We're about 30 minutes in, bud. And the struggle bus got jumped on a little bit ago. Heart rate's up in the 125s. Show you guys here. So you can see calorie burn too. We were talking about earlier today. If you can burn calories just sitting here, and because I'm getting that passive cardiovascular workout, you actually get one of the deepest calorie burns. I burn more calories in here than I do in a traditional sauna, probably double, if not triple. So we got, Luke said, you become addicted to it. It improves the quality of life that you never knew existed. And Luke couldn't have said it better. Most passionate guy I know. And river sweat, once you start achieving, the magic starts to happen internally. Again, couldn't have said it better. Once you get that elevated core temperature, you get that river sweat where you get that constant stream of sweat running off your body. That's when you're putting in its natural recovery mode, opening up all the blood vessels, all the circulatory system. Catherine, welcome. Welcome to the live, Catherine. I know her business, if you guys are in the Ohio area, right around Cleveland, there are some Good Health saunas over at her gym that you can check out. If she wants to drop the name of her gym in the chat, and we can do a little promotion for her as well. So I know she stopped out to one of our events at the IX Center and took a look for herself. Ended up going with, I believe, 2 units. It was a 2-person and a 3-person for her commercial location out in Ohio area. So again, if you're in anywhere in the Midwest, out east, New England area, ask us where you can try out a Good Health saunas, and we are more than happy to point you in a great direction. Because we, again, have so many friends all across the country that have used and absolutely enjoy their Good Health saunas. But staying hydrated is obviously one of the most important things. You guys can't see, but I did just kick the towel out over the floor heater there. So that just helps, again, keep any of the sweat off of the floor. If you have any questions, drop them down in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. if you have used an infrared sauna before, or if you're just looking for recovery, what are the aspects that you really are interested in? Is it sleep? Is it stress? Is it your shoulders, back, neck, lower body? Where are the key aspects that you guys may be feeling that recovery is lacking for you? Personally, for me, I know it's always been struggling to sleep, but then also get that passive or get that cardio in. I played a ton of sports growing up, so I always used to just get my cardio going to practices, workouts, and then when you get older, cardio stops. For me, I don't really like going running up and down the gym as much, playing basketball or lacrosse. That's just too much beat up on my body, but I can still go in the sauna, get that same cardiovascular aspect. I feel like I just played 4 quarters in a pickup game with my buddies, but I'm not stiff and I'm not sore after. I'm actually more recovered. My muscles are looser. I'm not as stiff. I'm not as sore. And just like I would with a normal workout, I know I'm going to sleep a lot better too. So having, again, just a tool in your tool belt. Everyone is different, where some people may like it at a little lower temperature for a longer session. Some people might like to set it at those higher temperatures for a little bit shorter session. Kind of personal preference and playing around to what you and your body likes the most. These are the good rants where, again, we're getting the heart rate now up into the 140. So the struggle bus is definitely underway, but that's where, again, I enjoy to get those cardiovascular benefits, because I don't know any other tool, recovery device, activity that gives me that same euphoric feeling as, like Luke said, sitting and getting that river sweat. You get addicted to the quality of life that it gives you and the long-term health benefits that you can see and feel. So again, if you have any questions, drop them down in the chat. We are on the struggle bus today for sure. The unit is about 144 in here right now, and being that we got to do the hour-long session, we're going to start to do a little stretching just to maximize my time in here. And so many people ask, oh, well, what am I going to do in there for the full hour? And that's why, if you have the space for a larger one, I like stretching around. Even in the 1 or the 2 person, you can still move around. The 2 person gives you a little bit more comfort. If you were planning to use it with someone else, I'd probably go with a 3 person, but having something where you can stretch out. Normally I would probably just have music going in on the Bluetooth or audiobooks, a podcast, but being that we're talking to you guys, there's still plenty of things to do. And for how loose and how relaxed my muscles feel, there's no better place for me to stretch. I feel like I get in my deepest stretches. I feel like my muscles and ligaments get the most amount of relaxation and recovery they possibly can, just because that infrared, again, is actually getting to that soft tissue muscle, and it's not just heating that ambient air temperature. So we are, again, about 30 minutes in to the session. But once you start using the sauna, it is definitely an addicting feeling in a good way. And there are so many people that once they get one, they say, it's the best investment I made. I use it almost every single day. I wish I did it sooner. I didn't realize how easy this was to put in my home. It just snaps together. It all plug and play. They came out and delivered it for me, or I had it shipped out in about a week, maybe 2, and had it up and running in an hour and a half, if not less. But those are just stories that we hear all the time when we're dealing with customers and hearing from just the experiences they have shopping online. It was the same way that it always has been, where so many people go out, they see infrared sauna, they see that this is something that they may want to use, they may get benefits from. Someone told them about how good it made them feel and they wanted to experience it too. And so then they look it up online. They see there's about 50 to 100 different options out there, and they realize it's almost too hard to make a choice. So they get stuck where a lot of people do in information overload. And what happens then is you get into information overload, you end up not making a decision, or worse yet, you end up investing in a cheap, low quality sauna. That stops working a year down the road. Maybe it's not made with safe materials, and you realize the most costly thing was making the wrong investment, but then not getting one and just starting to use it for how good it makes people feel. And again, it's not magic, it's not replacing your diet, your exercise, but it's compounding all of those effects. And if you can sleep better, again, we were talking about the lower legs and the lower extremities being the engine of the body. If your feet are sore, it's going to create your knees to be sore. It's going to work its way up to your hips, go all the way to your back, probably to your core, and then lead from there. I know there's studies out there, especially in elderly, where if there is an injury that occurs in the lower extremities and they're over the age of 60, I think the 1 year mortality rate is almost up by like 20% just from a lower extremity injury. So having, again, a tool at your own home that you're not waiting for your body to force you to have the conversation, but you're being preventative and not reactive, those are the people that, again, live the happiest, healthiest, longest lives. So that is going to be the main emphasis of today's episode, using consistently. But again, what does that even look like from a recovery standpoint? So not only what is infrared, what does it do, but how does infrared actually impact recovery, from circulatory benefits to muscle relaxation? And again, we forget a lot about the skin health you're getting too. So my skin has never felt softer. It's not as dry and cracky, especially in these summer months. I don't have psoriasis on my arms. I don't have those bumps. And so having the ability to sweat and shut off the dead skin cells, pull those natural oils back to the surface of your body, is when you can see and feel just those, again, maybe not even a long-term health benefit. That's probably an immediate benefit for me, is just the skin health. But I still know I'm compounding that with tons of long-term health benefits too. So whew. We are 40 minutes in, guys, in the struggle bus. A lot of people ask, do I need a sauna hat, or is there any steam in the sauna? And I don't know if you guys can tell, but we are starting to get a little bit of condensation on the windows here. It's not from steam that's actually getting produced into the environment. That's because I'm sweating. My core body temp is raising the internal temperature enough to where the cool outside temp is just creating a little bit of condensation on the glass door. So it's nothing wrong with the unit. That just means that it's working, I'm sweating, it's warm in here, and we're getting all the benefits. So no need to worry if you get a little condensation on your door or anything like that. Like I said, that's just because there's a temperature difference from the outside to that inside temperature. Whew. 140 is the heart rate, guys, and that's where we know we're getting that deep cardiovascular workout. I can crack my neck, my shoulders, my back. I hurt my back last week, and I know that was from not recovering enough. I was being way too active. I wasn't drinking enough water. I ended up tweaking my back, and it was because I wasn't recovering enough. I wasn't taking recovery seriously. You want to know what the only thing I thought about this whole past weekend was? Getting my back better. And now that it's finally better, I can go back to living my daily life and focusing on being the biggest, best person that I possibly can be. So that is the moral of the story tonight, guys. It is a little bit of a quiet night in the comments, but we got quiet light counseling in the chat. So I hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's episode. As always, we like to do this every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We got the state fairs coming up here, so check your local state fair and see if Good Health Saunas will be on display. Come out, ask for the fair savings. We'll help you figure out which sauna is going to work best for you and your space, and make sure you're getting the best infrared sauna on the market, backed with that lifetime warranty. J-Rob, don't you dare crack that door open. I won't. Are you using your sauna, J-Rob?
I think drop a bus in the chat for the struggle bus that we're on right now. It's no joke in here, folks. I'll show you heart rate. 140s. I don't know where else you can get that. Unless I were to be doing a full court up and down, back and forth. I couldn't tell you last time my heart rate gets up to the 140s. J Rob, we've been in here for 40 minutes too. Gotta give me some credit. It's 150 in here, 40 minutes in. We've been talking, chatting. It's definitely warm in here. But we went through a ton of great info. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I really did today, like I said, being that it was little focused on the twins with that fun study from the London College, and then also just going over how important those lower extremities are. And I know my brother definitely wins that battle, so he's got the 3.5-year age advantage on me. He was a D1 track athlete, so we got some work to do if we were gonna take down that throne. But shout out Ben, he's awesome. We are still going for, again, that hour-long session. It's probably about 45 minutes in here. We got Claire has joined as well. Welcome, Claire. We're deep on the struggle bus right now. Drop the buses in the chat to give me some support to stay in for another couple minutes here, guys. I need some buses in the chat. Just a little bus emoji. J Rob, I know that's zone 3. That's good. Where else can you get that zone 3? It's very, very difficult to not put yourself in that extreme heat to where it's going to shock your body. You may spike your heart rate to the 140. What I've done is I've gradually raised it from just starting resting beats per minute all the way up now into, like you said, that phase 3 cardio zone. So really improving that circulatory system, cardiovascular system, my respiratory system, and again, tons of other deep cellular benefits. So Sherry, welcome. We are, again, 45 minutes in. You guys are catching us deep on the struggle bus, but as Rob said, we're in about zone 3 of the heart rate right now. It is going to fluctuate, and I view that as a good thing, because when your heart can fluctuate so much, it's actually meaning your heart rate's really good at regulating yourself. So it's not having to work as hard. It can beat a few less times per minute and still make sure it's getting adequate amount of blood flow throughout your entire body. So having that heart rate up into that 140s is definitely what we're going for. And like I said, that zone 3 heart rate is really hard to get anywhere else. Drop the buses in the chat for the struggle bus that we're on. But I think if anyone has any last minute questions, speak now or forever hold your peace, because that is going to wrap it up for this week's 1-hour live session of Sweating the Details. Again, I'm Nick with Good Health Saunas. Check us every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Send us a link if you're looking at saunas. We'll help point you in the right direction. We have that buyer's guide. We're more than happy to, like I said, schedule a one-on-one with me. So until next time, guys, keep sweating, stay hydrated. Peace out.